Justin from Wilkes, Barre, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Hi, Justin.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for holding.
Oh, no problem. So I sent an email to, I believe it was Tracie who responded to my email. I was talking about a new argument I want to construct on my blog, something about love letters from God, because it's crazy that all Christians say that we should love God, we're compelled to love Him, He created us, He does all these great things for us, but I don't really find any compelling evidence for accepting the claim that He exists. And it seems quite strange that if in real life someone left letters at my door, someone claimed that, she was watching me all the time, that
I remember this.
She loves me, but yet I don't know who this person is. I mean, a lot of people talk about her. I've never actually seen her. I've never met her. So it seems to be a really odd thing that we're supposed to love a being just because they love us.
Yeah, and I think my response was something like, it's even worse than if you were getting letters at your door. It would be like somebody came to you with letters that were 2,000 years old and unsigned, and then said, this letter, even though it's addressed to the church at Corinth, is really intended for you. And it says that you need to do all this stuff, and that someone loves you.
It's a lot worse in this case, because
it's pretty crazy.
I mean, imagine if the letter says something like, if you don't love me, I'm going to kidnap you and shoot you, and all these bad things are going to happen to you.
Right.
I mean, I cannot be justified in loving a person like that, and I think this is the same case with Christianity, but it's a lot worse.
It's when you deconstruct it, sometimes it does seem a little absurd, yeah. I can't argue. If I could, I would still be a Christian.
But in recent discussions with theists and ministers and pastors that I speak to, this one lady told me that, well, deep down in your heart, you knew if someone did that in real life, you would still love the person. But I said, no, hold on. I would love a person who threatens to kill me and kidnap me if I didn't return this love?
Wow. Yeah. No,
okay.
I can't. I don't even know what to respond to other than if somebody felt that way. I mean, I guess if that's your personal thing, that you would still love somebody who threatens your life, or threatens to torture you or harm you or says coercion. I mean, I don't know. If I had a daughter, for example, that was dating somebody who said, I love you so much, and if you ever leave me, I'll break both your arms, I would tell her, get away as soon as possible, and we're going to get a restraining order. And I don't want you to ever be in touch with this person again. I don't know how else.
Exactly. So I don't know how the Christians can be justified in this. They try to get out by saying, oh, it's free will, you can choose, but we shouldn't have excessive punishment. A belief should not be predicated on fear, punishment, or torture, or anything like this at all.
Usually what I hear is it's sort of like a variation on the free will. It says that, it's almost like, well, I'm not breaking your arms. It's this other person that's going to break your arms if you don't love me. And I just, you're just choosing to let him break your arms. And the problem with that is that if I have the capacity to control the guy that's going to break your arms, then I'm kind of responsible if he breaks your arms. You know what I mean? If I can stop him and I don't. So, yeah, it's like no matter how you slice it, the fact is it's a plan that's set up to punish people who don't want to worship you. And it's very weird. I mean, if a human being did that, everybody would think, what a monster.
Right, but there's, for some reason, some exception. But I've yet to hear a good rebuttal to my argument.
And it's not even. I mean, you would think that the best somebody could muster, if let's say they said, well, this is a God and not a human being. It almost seems like the best you could muster is, you better do what he says because you don't want to go to hell. But really, it converts into this whole, it's love. It's love and it's mercy. And it's like, how in the world did that become love and mercy? If anything, it's just like, we better do what he says because he's psycho. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also another form of love that we were discussing about the hymns, that love is supposed to be sending your son to earth to have him crucified on a suicide mission, and this is supposed to step in and forgive people.
Right.
But it's also immoral on that part because, God is a third party, perhaps. I mean, if I, for example, went into someone's house in Florida who a man battered his wife and said, oh, you're forgiven for battering your wife, they would look at me as if I were crazy. I can't do that.
What if
the wife has to be the one to forgive?
What if you said, here's my child, kill him, and then I'll forgive you for killing your wife? I mean, it's just weird. It's just weird because, I mean, you're talking about, supposedly this is the God who gets to make the rules. And it's like, wow, this is the plan he came up with? Seriously? I mean, really, this is the best he could do? I'm going to send a guy to Earth, and he's going to be really good, and he's going to tell you to love each other, and then I want you to kill him. And you need to kill them because that's the only way this is going to work. And it needs to be pretty brutal because I want you to feel real bad about it when you do it.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I mean, it's kind of like the pedophile who co-opts one of his victims to recruit other victims. You know, and then this kid feels really guilty and he won't say anything because he's participated in this.
Except
even
I don't
though,
think they feel guilty.
Well,
I think it's like it's all love and happy.
Yeah, they think
it is all love and happiness. It's just like the swirling stars of a cult member. I mean, they would recognize it in a heartbeat. If it was somebody else, you know, in some other religion doing it, they would be like, this is grotesque. But if it's your own religion, it's perfectly okay. Yeah, I've probably said enough to piss off a lot of people. I'm sure we'll get a lot of emails about
I hope so.
negative attitude toward religion. But all right, well, is there anything else, Justin?
Oh, a second point in recent debates, I pressed the ministers and the pastors on the point of, well, if you have this belief, it should be demonstrable. You should have a good reason for it. And the one lady said, well, it doesn't matter if God actually exists. I don't need evidence. It just works in my life. And it really matters that people just believe in it. And I've also heard this from a theologian before, too.
Yeah, that's the idea that if a belief is useful, that it's okay to hold. And it's not that I don't understand what it is they're arguing, but literally what it boils down to is they're saying, I don't care whether what I believe is true or not. And I don't. And what gets me when it comes to a proselytizing religion is you're basically saying, and I don't care if I'm lying to other people and trying to convince them to believe lies. That's where I would kind of draw a line. It's like on the one hand, if you personally want to believe lies and you say, hey, it's best for me to believe my husband's not cheating because if I divorce him, I'm going to lose a lot of money. You know, it's like it's one thing if it works for you to believe a lie. But when you start going around when you say, I don't know if it's true or not, I don't care if it's true or not, but then you're out preaching it, that to me is kind of where I draw a moralistic line where I'm saying, okay, well, now you're out propagating lies. And if you're out propagating lies and recruiting people into, you know, a lie, and you know it's a lie, and you're not presenting it as a lie, you're presenting it as true, and not just, you're saying it's not just useful, but true when you preach it. So you need to not be promoting those lies to other people, or else, you know, I'm going to step in and say something. I'm going to say, I think you're promoting a lie.
Right. They say it's useful, but that doesn't really work. It doesn't add to the truth value of the claim whatsoever.
They say what?
It doesn't add to the truth value of the claim, no matter how something is useful or how something works.
Oh yeah.
And I would argue that
it's just a placebo effect or something at that point.
I would argue that anything that allows you to believe things that are clearly not supported by reason and evidence is not useful. I mean, it allows you to avoid some reality that you find uncomfortable or whatever, but I think that it's more useful to confront that.
I question too whether or not you can even call that belief. I mean, for example, the woman who says, you know, I'm just going to act like my husband's faithful because I don't want to call him on it because he's wealthy and I don't want to lose all that income. I'm not sure I can win a divorce battle in court. You know, does she really believe he's faithful, or is she just saying it's working for me to play along? You know what I mean? If a person can say to me that that's true, if you're saying you believe it, to me the definition of belief is that you've accepted it as true. So if somebody says to me, I believe it, and I don't care if it's true or not, it's like, well, what do you mean you don't care? You just said it was true. The moment you said you believed it, you said it was true, that you accept it as true. So you need to defend it as true. If you're just claiming it's useful, don't go around saying you believe it. Say, I use it.
Yeah.
I use it. I use this teaching, but, you know, yeah, I know I don't think it's true, but I use it. That's not belief.
They will never do that. They won't do that.
Well, you said somebody did.
Well, the thing is, they do. I mean, if you've got, when it comes to science, a lot of them do. They will go to a university, they will pass biology by pretending that they agree with evolution, and then they get off somewhere to Discovery Institute and suddenly, you know, they're creationists with their PhD or whatever, and now they're touting that as credentials. You know, so, I mean, they can believe, or they can use something, you know.
Right, but I wouldn't call it a belief. Yeah, I mean, it's like,
even if they don't believe it.
It's a model that you're using. Anyway.
Okay.
That's enough of that. So, okay, Justin, do you have anything else?
All right, I would just like to bump my blog, if that's okay.
Oh, go for it.
All right, it's greenatheist.blogspot.com, and my Facebook badge is also on there for whoever wants to add me as a friend or continue conversation. Thanks a lot for having me.
All right.
Good enough.
Thank you.